This video is made for adult collectors because even adults can't understand the pacing of The Last Night.
For my world to live, yours must die.
Nemesis Prime.
I will fight anyone who stands in my way.
This is Shadow Spark Optimus Prime, and he's had a weird life. This toy was available as a lucky draw type toy in China with specially marked cans of Coca-Cola, but then went to certain Asian Toys R Us's and shelf-warmed hard, apparently. That's why it's rare nowadays, but also not expensive when you do find it. Back in the day, it wasn't super duper hard to get, but nowadays it kind of is. And I'm so glad I found it. I got it for $38 off Buy because of coupons. They're not directly sponsoring this video, but my link will be below if you want to check them out. But like I said, 38 bucks is not expensive. It's just a tad hard to find one of these. And of course, mine gets hit with QC where one of the shoulders won't tab in, but whatever, I'll fix that later. Oh, hey, I also have the regular one. Oh shit, I also have the movie The Best one. Can't you tell I like this mold a little bit? This mold is not great, let's be honest. It's the best they could do at the time for this non-toy friendly design, and for that I like it a lot. I distinctly remember being in high school exam time. I have severe anxiety when it comes to doing tests, and it makes them extremely difficult for me to do, so my mom said once I finished my exams, we'd go to Toys R Us and I'll buy whatever I wanted to buy for myself. So I bought almost the entire first wave of Age of Extinction toys, and this was the only leader they had. It's Ghibli. And this toy is the reason I feel the Night Prime design feels like it's missing something. Because I looked at this toy way more than I looked at the model in the film when I was younger. So I'm so used to it having the backpack that it not having ones can sometimes look weird to me, personally. That's not a fault against the toy or a fault against the design. That's just how your brain works. That's how my brain works. This particular version, though, is my favorite, hands down. The deco is so nice. This rusty, darker deco with the battle damage flames. I really like how the speckling on the legs is done. It sort of morphs into that dark greenish black. It's so nice. I wish the arms had some stuff going on, though, but eh. I adore the head sculpt. The purple eyes are so nice here. But where's the red stripe? The movie The Best one has it, but that one's head won't stay on because the back part, the glues come out, so the head's just kind of broken. And then there's a thing that happens to the original, the iconic Bolt Matrix moment.
And holy crap, by pop off I mean launch off. Whoa!
Thankfully, the rare one doesn't do that, but yeah, it was like the best thing this toy did back in the day was shoot its head at Mach 10 towards you. They have the same head mold too, but the paint on the newer one just makes it pop a bit more, even though it's darker. And just in general, the darker, more sinister look I feel fits this mold a tad better. He looks okay in poses. The kibble doesn't really lend itself much to posing, and he can only really do so much going forward due to how back heavy he is, but the feet are done in such a way that he has such a stable base. One thing I forgot to write in the script is the weapons, so let's talk about that real quick. First of all, the seller also threw in, I dropped it. The seller threw in this gold shield, so now I have a second one of these. I actually have this one open now, so I'm giving this to Movie The Best. They threw in this limited edition axe, and then this limited edition really flimsy rubber candy color version of the sword. So I have these three weapons now. The shield is going to go to Movie The Best Prime. These two, I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do with them, but they're probably going to go in a drawer. Anyways, the articulation, you'd think it... Oh, I also forgot, I completely forgot. These are the weapons he comes with. They're greenish black with rust on them, and the gold shield keeps wobbling. Anyways, the articulation on this thing, you'd think would be kind of terrible because of all this stuff. But he's actually extremely modern. The only thing he's missing is wrist swivels, which they then gave to the Takara version. So, like, his posing's fine. The head's on a ball joint, as you saw, because it kept getting launched off. The head's on a pretty nice ball joint. You've got these that rotate this way. They can go up and down, and they're on a second hinge. Shoulders, can rotate. They rotate at a bit of an angle just due to how they plug in, but they're ratcheted that way. They go out that far. This one doesn't tab in, so he's got a bit of a butterfly joint on that arm. Ratcheted elbow, bicep rotation. The thumb can open to hold the sword. Very weird, but you know, we'll take it. He does have hip skirts that move out, and this one that moves up to allow for waist rotation, which as you can see is not working. And that's because these panels right here bump into it. So when you want to activate the waist, you just fold these out, rotate the waist to whatever you want, and then just reline them back up, and boom. But the hip skirt kind of works like Armada Optimus, the legacy one, where the hip skirt stays with the upper torso and it's the lower torso that moves. But due to the way this thing transforms, that is literally the only way they could have done that. So like, that's fine. But the hips can go forward that far. They can't really go back. They can go out that far. You have above the knee swivel, 90-degree bend at the knee. And then, the thing that you probably don't expect on a toy from 2014, he has ball jointed ankles. So you get a little bit of a tilt there. You get rotation, and then you have this transformation hinge here, which allows for me to unpeg the grill, which allows for a little bit more of a pivot. Now, if you want even more of a pivot, you can rotate the wheel, and then it's pretty much just limited to your imagination. So while that is breaking the sculpt and everything, at least it's there and you can use it. And for a 2014 toy, that's pretty damn good. Well, this is the 2017 version, but it's the same mold as the 2014 toy. Now, this version right here, the Movie the Best one, does have backwards leg movement because they changed the kibble because they literally just made it removable. So, but then like he loses balance, which is kind of a shame, which is why I'm not the biggest fan of the Caliper Optimus the more that I mess with it. But this one's nice. So that's the robot. It's jank, but I love how jank it is. Now the transformation is extremely interesting, but also very, very simple, because this was the time, at least when this guy came out, it was the first time they started putting the number of steps on the back of the box. I actually have an Age of Extinction box here. Here we go. Here's what the boxes used to look like. Right there it says, you can't see that because of the glare, so I'm gonna just, no, whatever. It says 18 steps. So this was the time when they started doing that. This is also the time they started doing this and blah, blah, blah. So this is actually the blueprint for what would become the boxes we still get today, which is pretty interesting. But they had to make this easier because of like complaints from the Dark of the Moon and the Revenge of the Fallen toy lines of toys being too complicated for little kids, which is the main market. So that makes sense. However, this being simple doesn't mean it's bad. It's actually very, very interesting. It's so satisfying in the legs. So to start with, we're going to push the head down, and you know what? Let's see if we can get it one more time. No. There it goes. I caught it. But you push the head in, you pull that up, take these, bring them out of the way. Then we're going to put them in T-pose and get these sections out from behind and rotate them out like that so that they're facing back. This was how it was originally revealed at New York Toy Fair, was the things back here. It was kind of funny. Everybody was complaining. You pull this up, rotate this around 180 degrees, and now we're going to do the really satisfying part. So the first thing you want to do is you want to rotate the wheels up, like so. Then you fold the feet in, and then you swing this all the way around, and it will just fit right into place. And what's cool is this panel right here, the panel with all the copyright on it, is spring-loaded. So when you push it in, and then when you pull it out, make sure everything's lined up, it fills itself back in. That's cool. But you just slip that in there. You then rotate the grill around and peg it into place. And that is one entire front of the truck done. And that's very, very satisfying to do. You just floop. It works better if everything's lined up, but once it is, floop, there it goes. That's so nice. So you bring that up, then you bring this up into a sitting position and peg the truck halves together. Like so. Make sure everything's nice and pegged in. Then you bend the elbows, bring the arms down and unclip them while rotating the forearm around. That will get it into place here. Oops. Let's just bring that around like that. Pull this section up
and then flip this down, and the arms will sit in the gas tanks. Then you plug all of this in here, you bring this up, these will fold around, and this little clip point right there will hug the hinge. So you just put it around, it will hug the hinge. Get everything lined up. Bring this around, peg it in like so. And then you just bring the roof down like that. Make sure everything's lined up properly. There we go. Just give it a nice little squeeze. Then you want to take the sword hilt thing and push it in. And then the sword, where did it go? Here it is. The sword just slides right underneath and stores the shield, goes on the back, in the 5mm trailer hitch, and stores. And there you have him. That's the truck.
That is a nice and satisfying transformation to lead to a truck that I kind of wish kept the flames on the front. I kind of wish kept the flames on the front and did what it did on the sides. I guess it's supposed to be like the front's covered in dirt or infection or something, and the farther back you go on the truck, the less it's taken effect. But yeah, the color separation is done really weird with the wheel arches and it looks a bit off. But in the darker colors with the rusty grille, it looks so nice. I just really like this mold. My local place has the Takara one and the Takara Age of Extinction Nemesis one, and I kind of want both of those, so I might go back and get them at some point. The scorching, though, is something that is just done so well. It's the first thing I look at when I look at this truck, and it kind of makes up for the lack of flames on the front. It's very cool. Like, just in general, it may not be the best toy nor the best version of this mold, but it is so nice to mess with. Do I recommend it, though? Well, here's the issue. Of course I recommend the darker one, but it's, like I said, it's not very common, especially if you don't live in Asia, then it's pretty hard to get over here in North America. But if you can get it for cheap as hell on like Buy or something, then yeah, I would recommend it. But the original, I got it this locally in box for $40 Canadian. So you can definitely get it for cheap. And I highly recommend grabbing one for that. It's so much fun just shooting the head at people. But that's my look at Leader Class Optimus Prime from Age of Extinction. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.